Good day to all you hockey fans out there. It is March 6th, and you are listening to the one, the only Talking Puck podcast. I am Sean Coles, joined as always by my co-host, Ryan Lake.
Hey.
And we're going to start off, as we normally do, with kind of a quick roundup of the Canadian teams. And we'll kick things off with the Toronto Maple Leafs, currently sitting with a record of 28, 22, and 14. That's got to be some sort of record that they have 14 overtime and shootout losses.
They're not very good in the shootout this year.
Oh, man. And you think for all the skill that they have, that this is a team that is, like, Class A made for the shootout. And they can't win one. They have won one.
Yeah. If you're a Leafs fan, you better hope that the game ends in overtime, or you pretty much don't have any hope.
That's basically how it goes, and which is probably why I'm a little more passionate about getting rid of the shootout than I normally would be. Like, I am bored of it. Don't get me wrong, but I probably wouldn't be as bad if the Leafs had maybe won, 2 or 3.
Nope.
But the Leafs were on a Western road swing last week, and
it didn't go so well.
Somehow, they had a lead in all 3 games, and somehow, only came out of 3 games with 1 point.
Third period.
Not even just third periods. They just blew leads, and I don't know if it's down to youth or if it's that the veterans they have on this team just don't know how to win. I don't know what it is.
You know what killed me was the fact that Anaheim threw in Bernier to go up against his old team, and he got the George W.
See, the thing with Bernier is that he was a good goalie. He just didn't have it mentally to be able to play in a maelstrom like Toronto.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, look at it's a media hotbed. Half the players who go there can't handle the off-ice stuff just because of how many, how involved they are with every aspect of their life.
You know what? That's just Toronto disease in general. You look at any of their sports teams,
for sure.
That's just how it goes. But yeah, they had a lead against all of these teams. Now, all these teams are very good and know how to win. So people are saying, this still shows the gulf between where the Leafs are and where they need to go. And I'm not sure that's quite it, as they need to just get used to holding a lead.
Yeah, it's still their inexperience showing, right?
Yeah.
It's that they are still young. I mean, there are veterans, but when Riley is one of your veterans on the blue line, and he's only like 24 or 23.
Not even. He's 21.
Is he 21? I thought he was older than that. Yeah, if he's one of your veterans, then what do you...
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that you've got guys like Morgan Riley, who is going to be
He's also
phenomenal.
playing hurt, though. Ever since he came back, apparently he has not been 100%.
That wouldn't surprise me. He's been playing a little bit better as of late, but yeah, it was taking him a little while to get back into the swing of things. I wouldn't be surprised if he was still carrying a knock, but most players do.
Oh, especially this time of year.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, though, is that they got Riley very young on the back end. You got Zaitsev, who's a little older and has been playing pretty well all season, but first year in the league. He's not going to be spectacular first time out.
Right.
Usually not for a defenseman. But then you've got guys like Connor Carrick.
Yeah.
Connor Carrick. Again, going to be, most likely will be solid top 4 down the line. Still not quite there yet. He's probably better off in a 5-6 spot, but when your 5-6 spot is taken up by Hunlack, you don't have much of a choice. So it is a bit of a problem in what they have on the back end, and I'm getting the feeling these days that they do need to maybe move on from Tyler Bozak and James Van Riemsdyk.
Now, would you want to trade them for defensive help, or
whatever you can get? That's the thing, and whatever is the best deal that makes sense. Like, JVR is most likely going to go. I don't see him re-signing with the Leafs. And I don't know why he would. Really, he's never had a good time as long as he's been there.
Yeah, and he's not that young anymore, and
yeah, he's going to want to win. So he's most likely going to go to a team that is
more suited for now instead of 5 or 10 years down the road.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised to see him in New York.
Everyone goes to New York.
Well, either the Rangers or the Islanders.
Yeah,
I don't know why he would.
But
go to the Islanders,
it just seems like the Rangers is where everyone thinks they're going to go win a cup, and then they never do.
Well, yeah, well, exactly, unless you're in 1994. But well, and that's supposedly where Shattenkirk is going to go. Fan of the Rangers. He wants to go to New York, is what people are saying.
He wanted to be a rental for this year and then sign long term off in the summer.
Well, exactly. But anyways, getting back to the Leafs, is that you've got these two guys that, like, JVR has boatloads of talent but goes missing.
Yeah, especially at key times of the year.
Yeah, exactly. This is when he needs to be turning it on and scoring some key goals, and he's not doing it.
But it also, you look at when Marner was out, they sucked.
Yeah, they did.
It's like they rely on him to be productive.
They rely on Marner, they rely on Matthews, they rely on Nylander. Those three especially, Connor Brown as well, Zach Hyman. But and this is the thing for Austin Matthews, is that they got to figure out someone else to play with them, and which is why I like the Hyman Nylander Matthews thing, because you get a couple of guys that have boatloads of skill, and then you got a grinder like Hyman who's going to chip in here and there. But having Matthews with Connor Brown and Zach Hyman doesn't do him justice. Like, that doesn't maximize his potential. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm just getting the feeling that JVR just needs to move on. They need to trade him, get what they can, and this summer's going to be a perfect time to do that. He'll have a year left on his contract,
and there's going to be lots of teams who are going to need players.
Exactly, and especially if they don't want to protect him.
Yep.
So who knows? So hopefully Lou has a master plan in mind, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But
if not, I'm sure he's working on one.
Moving on to a team that supposedly has a master plan, and yet that just looks like getting tougher and less skill on the fourth line, is the Montreal Canadiens.
So far, it's been paying off for them.
See, I don't know if that's just so far that has been paying off, or they're just playing better and Carey Price is saving pucks.
Yeah, but I mean, even the games where they have been winning, Carey Price has only had, like, the one game, I think he only had 24, 25 saves. They've been playing better defensively in front of him, which they haven't been doing for the last few weeks. But Jordy Ben's already scored a goal since he's been there.
Well, Jordy Ben was there to kind of clean it up a little bit and add a little bit of leadership and defensive acumen.
Now, I don't know if this story is true or not, but what I heard, apparently the reason as to why Therrien got fired, there was articles surfacing, you never trust what you read, but I could see it being true, is apparently he went after Shaw in the dressing room, and it was game comments, but then it turned into verbal attacks on him personally, and Price stepped up and said, no, you don't do that, like, leave it alone. And then days later, Price and a few guys went to Bergevin and said, look, this is what happened, we don't like this, and the only reason why they moved on from Therrien is because of the fact that Julien was available.
Yeah, exactly. They would not have fired Therrien if someone...
Not mid-season.
No, exactly. Not unless someone like Claude Julien was available. Now, I think you had mentioned the thing about Andrew Shaw to me before, and you know what? To a certain extent, Andrew Shaw needed a kick in the ass.
He did. He's been playing well lately.
Lately.
Ever since that Leafs game, he's been scoring a few goals.
Because he's a fantastic player, but he's trying to do too much.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what was getting him into trouble. It's like David Clarkson syndrome all over again, where you almost expect him just to jump off the bench and get a 10-game suspension. But I did hear about the players going and having conversation with Marc Bergevin. The official story is that it was technically a day off, and Therrien was like, no, I'm not going to go to this meeting. You guys just go talk to Bergevin. Maybe a mistake on his part to do that. Bergevin states that meeting was held in the lobby of the hotel where they were. But I don't trust a thing that comes out of Bergevin's mouth.
Yeah.
Like, you get guys that... He's kind of like... To me, he's a little bit like Trump of the hockey world. Mm-hmm. In the sense that he just spews whatever crap...
Alternative facts.
Exactly. Like, I am not looking to trade PK Subban.
Trades PK Subban.
Trades PK Subban.
Did you see him today at the was it the winter meetings or whatever they were doing? And he was going for lunch, and he didn't want the media to bug him, so he walked out of the hotel or wherever he was carrying a plant, completely covering the whole upper half of his body, so that no one would ask him questions. There's a picture on Twitter of him literally carrying like a ficus or something, and he's
funny.
this huge like 4-foot potted plant. He's just walking, carrying it so no one can see him.
I'm surprised that no hotel employee went after him and got, no, sir, no, you can't just take this plant.
But other than that, I mean, they've been
they have been on a roll lately.
A bunch of overtime wins in a row. I mean, February, they didn't have a single regulation win.
Yeah.
It was like the first time since like 1940 that they did that or something like that.
That was bad, but it looks like Julian's starting to hopefully.
I think they've only lost 1 or 2 games since he's been there, and they've won. They're on a 5-game winning streak now or something like that.
4 for sure, but I think you're right. No, it is 5 because the game before the Devils was against the Leafs.
Right. So they're on a 5-game winning streak, and this is the right time that you want to heat up, especially when you got teams like Ottawa and Toronto and all these teams in the Atlantic coming hot on your tail, right?
Well, and speaking of Ottawa has been massively hot lately, just over the long term, despite all the injuries they had. But they loaded up at the deadline. They got a couple of good guys for their top 9 for sure, and then you got Burrows. I don't know where he plays. If that's top 9 or 4th line, but
first game for Burrows, he scored 2 goals.
He did. Now, whether or not that'll continue, who knows? But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Ottawa. I think they're in a very, very good position to make the playoffs.
They're finally getting some consistent goaltending.
Well, you know what? Goaltending hasn't been their issue this year.
No, but I mean, as in terms of who's going to be the starter, It's it was before is it going to be this person? Is it going to be this person? Oh, Anderson's back for 2 games. Okay, he's gone. Is it going to be this person?
Yeah, that's right. They got stability in net,
and they got a solid backup.
They do. They've got one of the better backups than Mike Condon, and then the Hamburglar even.
Well, he's been hurt and he's been down and out, and
he was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He's most likely never going to hit that.
He's basically like a Brizgalov, just not as funny.
No, you know what? Brizgalov was good only in Arizona. Basically, where they've made goalies like Mike Smith.
Mike Smith is a good goalie.
Or is he just a product of the way that Dave Tippett plays, right?
Well, I guess unless he goes somewhere else, we won't know.
Yeah, exactly. But you look at a guy like Brizgalov, who was awful once he went anywhere else.
And that's because he realized how big the universe was.
I'm disappointed that I missed all of the trade deadline stuff.
He's now an analyst on the NHL Network.
oh man. Apparently, actually, on the Sportsnet trade deadline day stuff that they were doing, I guess he turned to Jeff Merrick and went, "Wow, you guys talk about hockey a lot."
Yeah, no, these.
Well, and then after that, he's like, "Can we talk about some other stuff?" Jeff Merrick's like, "Oh, all right, let's get into some weird topics then."
Yeah, there's a video of him going on at the All-Star game in LA, and he's interviewing players about how Russians are very smart at math. And
you know what? Actually, some of them are.
Yeah,
that's where some of the best mathematicians
are.
And
in Canada, we have BEDMAS, right? Like brackets, exponents, whatever. But in the States, apparently they have PEDMAS or something like that. It's different. And he did this like
brackets.
He did like what's 4 plus whatever, and the answer was like 6, but all the like American players were like, oh, 8, and it was like, and then you get like Ovechkin and all the Russians, and they were given the right answer, and Brizgalov was like, you're wrong. It was a pretty funny video.
I'll have to look that one up. Man, Breeze is awesome. But anyways, getting back to the Sens, you know what? They had a good week. They only lost to the Lightning. That was a big loss, though. But they beat the Panthers. Also good, division rival, and the Panthers are putting on a charge.
Panthers are hot on everyone's tail right now.
Exactly. So I would say they are a good bet to make the playoffs. I don't know how much damage they do
at this point,
second round. But
at this point, the more Canadian teams are in the playoffs, the better chance is that a Canadian wins the Stanley Cup, and that's really what matters for Canadian hockey.
And also better ratings and more money for Rogers.
Yeah, because Rogers needs it.
Oh, they were hurting last year. I think they definitely saw a downturn in their profits off of that. But anyways, moving on to another team that we always talk about because they frustrate the hell out of us. Winnipeg Jets.
Again, status quo, really. I mean, they're sitting at the 500 right on pretty much, and they're, they win one, they lose one, they win one, they lose one. It just seems how it's been all season.
They destroyed the Avs.
Who
on
doesn't
Saturday.
destroy the Avs though?
That's
Like,
true. They have 37 points. That's bad.
Like if you honestly watch it, literally, it's like the players. Like Blake Como was on a breakaway and he passed.
I did hear about that. I was reading tweets that were like, Blake Como's got a breakaway. Oh wait, no, he doesn't.
It was literally Blake Como, opposing player, teammate, and he passed it to the opposing player on a breakaway. It's honestly like they're trying to be the worst team ever since the salary cap or the shootout era.
And this is now when they don't have as good a chance of getting the number 1 overall pick. They could fall to 3rd, and it's not even a deep draft.
Well, to be honest, I mean, even if they were to get Nolan Patrick, that's not going to help them because they don't need more offensive help. They need defense.
Well, the only way that helps them is that it gives them a ready-made replacement for Duchesne. Most likely, as long as Nolan Patrick pans out, which there's no guarantee.
But at the same time, you also got Tyson Jost that's coming up.
Yeah, that's true.
Tyson Jost is unbelievably skilled. You've got, he's been playing the last few games. You got that JT Compher who's been pretty good. He played for the University of Michigan. There are a lot of guys. Rantanen's finally coming into his own in the NHL, so there is going to be a lot of guys. McKinnon's going to be there long term.
They just need some guys.
They need guys that aren't 40 years old or washed up.
Speaking of that, I'm surprised they didn't try to trade Boschman.
He's done at the end of the year. I feel like it doesn't matter to them right now.
Yeah, but it could have been good for a contender, right?
The only team I think would have took him at this point would have been Anaheim again.
Yeah, and they don't need more defensive.
No,
they are set that way. But he might have thought that Pittsburgh might have gone for him instead of Mark Streit. But
yeah, but
who knows? Who knows? That's neither here nor there. But the Winnipeg Jets, man, I don't know. Not much to say about.
I mean, the only real good story about them this year is that Patrick Laine's scoring a lot of goals.
He is.
It's nice to see. Everyone was debating about Patrick Laine and Austin Matthews, and usually when things like this happen, one of them is has 60 or 70 points. The other one has 30. It's nice to see them both neck and neck to the end of the season, right?
This is I was listening to American Wyshynski last week, and they were going on about the Calder race, and they're going, dear God, just make someone else win aside from Laine or Matthews.
Well, that's the whole case right now. Is that the Columbus guy was it Werenski?
Yeah, he would be worthy of that. But you know what? The other one, and I don't know why he wouldn't win it, is Murray.
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh.
Yeah, because he's still considered.
He is a rookie.
He's a rookie.
He only played mostly backup last year until the playoffs hit, and then basically dragged them over the finish line. But in that instance, why wouldn't you have someone that plays the most difficult position, just ahead of center? Center, what Austin Matthews does at 19, playing center.
For sure,
is unbelievable.
But there's only one goalie. There's 4 centers on your 4 lines with centers, right? So I mean, the pressure is obviously on Matthews, but he's not there the entire game, getting shots shot at his face. As Brizgalov said, goalies are the crazy ones because they're the ones who take the pucks to the face and the chest pads and.
Well, there was one that I saw, I think from last night, and I don't remember who it was. But the puck went right into their jersey.
Oh, really?
The way he angled his shoulder when the puck went right down. I'm like, thank God he didn't go back into his net. It would have been a goal.
Well, that happened to Mike Smith a few years ago.
Yeah.
The puck went straight up in the air, came down, went in the back of his pants. He didn't know where it went, so he tucked himself into the back of the net, and the puck was in his ass. Pretty sure it happened to Ryan Miller in Buffalo too.
But anyways, moving on from the Winnipeg Jets, because there's really nothing to say about them other than they are totally average. We have a team that has not been totally average the past couple of weeks. They are on a 7-game winning streak. The one, the only, Calgary Flames.
It must have been the Brian Burke interview on Trade Center.
Oh my God. I know we talked about it in the last show, but he does not give a good interview.
No, he doesn't give a good anything. But no, the Calgary's been playing fantastic. They've like they were saying on TSN is that, if Calgary plays like this, they're not a team you're going to want to run into in the first round of the playoffs.
No, and you know what? They are a better team, I think, than the way they have been playing this year, and if they can keep it up, more power to them. If we could see Calgary Flames, Edmonton Oilers showdown in the playoffs, that would be unbelievable.
That would renew the Battle of Alberta.
Oh, it would. It's already getting the fire stoked a bit, especially because of McJesus and everything. Always makes everyone a little jealous, but that would just be unbelievable.
It'd be fun to watch.
It'd be the same as either the Leafs and Habs or the Leafs and the Sens.
It'd be better to watch than, Anaheim go up against Winnipeg, sweep them, and then also sweep Calgary.
It's true. It's true. Like now, if you get something like Anaheim and LA,
that would be fantastic.
That would be an unreal series.
That would be.
Or actually, you know what? One of the best series I think I ever saw was Anaheim and Chicago a couple of years back. I think 2015. One of the best series of hockey I've ever seen. Just the quality was that high. But yeah, 7-game winning streak. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, especially because there's been so many shows where we've been talking about how they've been pretty much garbage. Like Brian Elliott couldn't save a beach ball, and now they're on a 7-game winning streak.
Thank God, and they're in a playoff spot now as well.
Yeah, they're only a few points behind Edmonton too.
Yeah, so you know what? More power to them. This is the time to kick it on, and it's in a weak West, so never know what kind of damage they can do.
It's a year that we actually can see a decent amount of Canadian teams in the playoffs.
Yeah. You know what? Even Vancouver's not that far out of it. And that's saying something.
Yeah. Well, the West is just not overly strong this year compared to every other year.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? We'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyways, moving on to the other Alberta team, the Edmonton Oilers. And again, not a bad week. You know what? Beat the Blues, beat the Wings, and they lost 5-4 to the Predators. So can't really complain. They're in a playoff spot now. I think second in the Pacific, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yeah. I'm pretty sure they're just behind Anaheim, right?
Yeah, and no, they're it's not. I don't think it's Anaheim that's ahead of them. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Sure. We'll have to look later. Anyways, you know what? They're going to make the playoffs. I just don't know how far in the playoffs they can go.
It's all going to rely on Talbot.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get scoring from guys like McJesus and whatnot.
Well, and this is the thing, though, is that McDavid hasn't played in the playoffs before.
Yeah.
So we don't, yes, he is amazing. I don't deny that. But can he score in the playoffs when the chips are down?
Yeah, but with a guy like McDavid, it's not even so much about scoring. He makes everyone around him better too. So as long as he's still contributing assists and just opening up the ice for other guys, then I guess his job's not a bust, right? Like as long as he's, basically him being on the ice without even the puck already makes everyone else better because everyone's focused on him.
Yeah. No, that is very true. That is very true. But you know what? That's dependent on the rest of Edmonton to step up and
right. And it's going to be a whole team effort that they're going to need. They're going to have to roll 4 lines, and
that's the problem. I don't know that Edmonton can do that. Not reliably. They depend on McDavid like you wouldn't believe. And why wouldn't you, right? He is that good.
The last time that nobody thought they could do anything in the playoffs, they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So
yeah, that was on the back of Dwayne Roloff. Rolly the goalie until he got injured.
He suited up for Minnesota or something as an emergency backup last year or something like that.
Thank God they didn't ask him to make a save. He'd have gone down to make a save and
couldn't get back up.
Can't get back up.
It's like Ron Tugnutt.
But you know what? Hopefully they continue as they're going, make the playoffs. Like we always say, that's the main thing this year is that more Canadian teams make it into the playoffs. And you know what? With a weak West, who knows what they can do? I don't think they can get past Anaheim, Chicago, or Minnesota.
Especially not with the way Chicago's playing or Minnesota's playing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Chicago's won 7 in a row as well.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were second place in the division by 7 or 8 points, February 23rd.
Yeah.
And then up until yesterday, they were in first place, but Minnesota won last night, so it took first place back.
You know what? The Chicago going on a 7-game win streak shouldn't be surprising. They are that good a team.
Yeah, they're a fantastic team. They're one of those teams where all of a sudden, come the deadline, they have all this extra space and room. And
no, you know what? The best was when Patrick Kane was injured, and they kept him out until the playoffs.
Yeah, just so that frees up all his cap. That frees up all his cap hit.
Oh man, teams were so pissed about that. They're going, come on, come on.
There's no rule against it right now, though.
Oh, I know. But and you know what? I found hilarious is that they picked up Johnny Oduya again.
Yeah. Well, Pittsburgh's doing the same thing because Ole Mata is out for 5 to 6 weeks. The playoffs were in
Yeah.
7 weeks, so they're just holding him up to the playoffs so they can take his
Basically.
$2.5 million off the books. Basically,
Is that all he makes?
his cat. Yeah,
He's got to be in for a raise soon, though.
yeah. I'm pretty sure he's just on. I don't know if they signed him or if he's just on like a bridge deal.
Well, 2.5 kind of to me sounds like bridge. But I feel like he's signed an extension already, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to look into it.
Whatever. Anyways, moving on to our last Canadian team, the Vancouver Canucks. Sitting with a record of 28, 30, and 7, and yet are somehow only like 5 points out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, they're. I mean, I don't even really know what to say.
But they have officially declared
A rebuild.
the rebuild. So thank God
feel-
they're actually going in the right direction. Someone clearly took betting aside and said, "Look, bud, come on. What are you doing
They
here?"
put Q-tips in there and they got the cobwebs out. Well, he doesn't care because he got his name's on the cup with Boston. He was an assistant GM when they won in 2011.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
I didn't
he-
know that.
So he's got his name on the cup. So
He's
I think
got a
he's
ring.
just fucking that franchise up now.
No, you know what though? He made some really good moves.
Oh
at
no,
the
he
deadline.
did. He did.
He picked up a couple of really good pieces and shipped out a couple of guys that they really weren't using.
Yeah, like
And we're
Yannick
doing-
Hansen and
Yeah, Yannick
Burrows.
Hansen and Burrows. Those were the main two that got shipped out, right? So, you know what? Judging by those moves alone, I think they are moving in the right direction.
really
I
though.
hope that continues.
Yeah, but really, other than Bo Horvat, there's not really much to talk about right now with them.
Yeah, well, exactly. The Sedins are the Sedins, but you know what? They've got some decent pieces now. They've got a couple more good pieces. The guy that picked up from San Jose, Goldobin.
Goldobin, I believe.
Scored in his first game.
Although they had some guy, some goalie play the other night, and he was his first win in the NHL since 2015. He made like 44 saves.
Markstrom? No, he's been
No.
playing all season.
Some name that I haven't heard.
I don't know. They've got, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Thatcher Demko. They've got in their system, and he is supposed to be like an A-level prospect for
Yeah,
goalie.
I did hear that. I haven't seen anything on him, but I heard he was
Neither
supposed to
have
be. He's supposed to be pretty good.
I'm just going by conventional scouting wisdom. Now, we all know that does sometimes fail, so who knows if that's actually going to be legit or not, but hopefully they don't totally fuck up their goaltending situation.
Well, they'll just trade him.
Like Mike Gillis somehow managed to just trade away 2 number 1 goalies. Oh my god. Oh, that was so bad. Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Now, you know what? They got Bo Horvat out of it, but do you not think that they maybe be a little bit better if they had Corey Schneider in net?
Yeah, well, I mean, they wouldn't have Bo Horvat, but you'd have a goalie.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, no, nothing against Ryan Miller. He's just old.
Well, he's not that good anymore. He's a very athletic goalie who just isn't that athletic anymore. But, it's what it is with Vancouver. I think they're just waiting for the season to end.
Pretty
And
much. They're the long shot to make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, good for them.
But I am willing to declare that they are no longer a dumpster fire.
Not at the moment. They could lose the rest of the way
That's
out.
true. That's true. They could turn into a dumpster fire again, but right now the embers are just kind of smoldering a little bit. There's no big flames.
Someone's holding the fire extinguisher, but they haven't had to use it yet.
So hopefully that continues, because if they get back on their way up, that'd be fantastic.
Vancouver's just one of those teams that I don't really care about. The only reason why I'd want them in the playoffs is because they're Canadian.
Yeah, but you know what? Again, more Canadian teams that do
Right.
better
Better
it is,
chance,
right?
yeah.
Better it is. So, anyways, the moving on from all our Canadian teams, the big news of the week is that Vegas signed their first player. Woo! Well, it's exciting.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
at the same time, who gives a shit? But you know what? Actually, the player doesn't look too bad. He looks like a decent pickup, and I'm surprised, judging by his numbers, that the Wild, who drafted him, didn't sign him. And if you bear with me,
it was like a 5th or a 6th round draft pick, right?
He was 6th round. He was and that may have been more down to size than anything, but at the same time, he was kind of honing his skills a bit in Brandon, so he was still kind of learning a little bit. I'm trying to... Jeez, I can't remember his name. I should have read this down.
Isn't it Duke Reed or Reed Duke or something like that?
Reed Duke. That's his name. Reed Duke. Now, the reason that I'm not totally surprised that someone from Brandon is their first signing is that the assistant GM is
Was-
Kelly McCrimmon,
who-
who is the owner
Yeah.
of Brandon, was the GM
Yeah.
and was the coach.
So he's very familiar with him.
Yeah, so he's very familiar. But going through, because I went through his hockey DB here. I'm just gonna pull it back up.
He's in his overage year with Brandon this year.
Yes, yeah, he's in his overage year. I think he's got about 35 goals so far. And you know what? The funny thing is that when you Google him, there's another Reed Duke that comes up.
He's a Magic card player.
That's when you know you're just not one of the top hockey players of all time.
When there's a professional Magic the Gathering.
But you know what? 54 games, he's got 35 goals, 32 assists for 67 points, and he's got
71 penalty minutes.
71 penalty
And he
minutes.
can still score that much when he's sitting his ass on the penalty box. Must be a bunch of fights or something.
It must be, but you know what? He's good size. He's 6 foot, 190 pounds.
Yeah,
So he's good NHL size. Hopefully, he's got the NHL brain that can do it. You look at what part of the issue was, is that he was on a really bad team with Lethbridge and didn't start getting really good until he was with Brandon, and I'm betting that was his draft year.
Yeah, that makes sense. He probably wasn't scouted or given the ranking, and that he probably deserved, because sometimes, when you're 16 or 17 and they start ranking you, you're not in. You haven't developed all your hockey skills.
Just looking back, looking at his draft year, this is why he was taken in the sixth round. 62 games, 15 goals, 25 assists for 40 points, minus 47.
And 91 penalty minutes.
Oh, man. But you know what?
But every year other than that one, he's pretty much been a plus player.
Yeah, well, basically since he moved to Brandon. Right? That's the main thing for him. So, you know what? If he could be a fantastic player for Vegas, then right on.
At least they'll have someone in their farm system at least. So at least he can make the jump from the NA or the WHL to the AHL.
Do we even know who their AHL team is?
I don't know. Are they sharing somebody right now?
I think they're going to be sharing, but I don't think they've even started.
Yeah, I don't think so. Probably at the expansion draft.
Yeah. Yeah, when they actually start picking up some players, but hopefully this is the first of many that they can start picking up. And you know what, guys that are on their exit year that haven't been
performing,
that haven't been signed,
that too.
They're going to be right pickings for Vegas,
especially for teams who are trying to lower some cap.
Yeah, that too.
Now, at least Reed Duke, if he doesn't pan out, at least he'll always be the first name that ever signed with Vegas.
Yes, he'll be, notorious.
He'll go down in infamy.
He will be. He will. And I feel a little badly for the guy because most hockey players they tend to be, okay looking guys. This dude's got an ugly ass mug. I can't really talk that much, but that's just unfortunate.
It's almost like the no offense, but Greg McKegg.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, but good on him for being the first guy signed there, and you know what? Hopefully, he's able to really turn it on there and become successful.
If not, he can scare people.
Guys will just move out of his way. Oh, poor guy.
We're assholes.
That we are. But you know what? I think we're gonna cut her off there for this week. But I think we'll probably be back this weekend, Dave, for our next show.
Probably about 6 or 7 days. There's about 6 days from now.
Yeah, probably thereabouts. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But as I said, that's our show for this week. But follow us on Twitter at TalkingPuckP. And subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, and Google Play, and SoundCloud if you're on there as well. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. See you next week. Goodbye.
See ya.